And the moment you're supposed to die, it just turns dry. You turn old at the spot. And you just drop, boom, from the heavenly planets. And the arrangement is made such that between the Swarga and Bhumi, between the earth and the heavenly planets, there is a planet called Bhuvaha. That's planet of the Rakshasas. So while you are thrown down, your body has been devoured by these Rakshasas. They munch on it, like fresh, nice, juicy body dropping down. And that's why you drop on the ground without any body. You lose your heavenly body right over there. And then, you come out in the grain to the father, from the father into the mother's womb, and then you take birth. So, difficult places. So Shrimad Bhagavatam is considered even higher than all these parts of the Veda because it recommends the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. Nothing is part from the substance, but at the same time the energies are different from the substance. This concept is not contradictory. Shrimad Bhagavatam explicitly promulgates the simultaneously one and different philosophy of the Vedanta Sutra, which begins with Janmadhyasya Sutras. This knowledge that the energy of the Lord is simultaneously one and different from the Lord is an answer to the mental speculators' attempt to establish the energy as the absolute. They say Maya is there. And then you have the Brahman, the effulgence of the Lord. And when the effulgence of the Lord gets under the sway of Maya, he takes a form and appears as a great personality in this world. For example, Lord Krishna. He's nothing other than the fashion of Maya. So if the Brahman, who is the supreme, falls under the illusion of Maya, how can he be the supreme? They have no answer to that. I remember having a discussion with one Mayavadi on a plane, going on and quoting shastras like this. It was like perfect jnani. And at one point he said, that's the point he made. The supreme, the absolute Brahman falls under the sway of Maya. So that means Maya is supreme. No, Maya can't be supreme. The Brahman is supreme. He says, no, but it falls under the sway of Maya. How can he be supreme? If he's supreme, then he doesn't fall under the prey of Maya. And then he thinks about it and he says, you have crossed over the ocean. You have gone on the other side. I said, let's go. You come with me. He said, no, I'm a dog's tail. I remain bent. It doesn't matter how long you try to make it straight. I'm the dog's tail. I was like, great. And he turned around and fell, went to sleep. I was like, joy. But that's what they say. This is the mental speculation, Srila Prabhupada says. This knowledge that the energy of the Lord is simultaneously one and different from the Lord is an answer to the mental speculators' attempt to establish the energy as the absolute. Brahman is just the energy. It's just the effulgence that comes out from the Lord's body, from his holy dham. It's not the Lord. But at the same time, it is the Lord. But unless we understand the Mahaprabhu's philosophy of simultaneously being one and the same, you can't understand this. Because Krishna, he can be everything. Like one person, he asked Srila Prabhupada a question. Can God create a wall that he himself cannot cross? So if he cannot cross, he's not God. So Srila Prabhupada said, yes, he can. And then he will cross it. How do we understand that? It's easily understandable by how Krishna lives his pastime in Vrindavan. He tells the gopis, completely in debt to you. I'm useless without you. I can't do anything. Your love for me is so great. I'm yours. I'm sold out. And many times you see, Krishna is there as a small child, 5 years old, 6 years old. And there is an elderly gopi who's like, Krishna, you want this butter? He's like, yeah, I want. He's like, oh, if you want a butter, you have to dance for me. Krishna is there dancing, in front of the gopi. He says, oh, now you have to go, go get that stick for me. Krishna runs to get the stick just for a handful of butter. Right? And then Mother Yashoda, she says, Krishna, did you eat dirt? No, I didn't. So open your mouth, opens the mouth, and the whole universe is seen inside, in which she can see that she's looking inside Krishna's mouth. So he can do stuff like this, in which it looks like that he's completely dependent on Mother Yashoda. He's completely dependent on the elder gopis. But at the same time, he has nothing to do with them. When Durvasa Muni comes to Braj, they say, oh, Durvasa Muni is here, let's do some seva for him. So all the gopis, they cooked a humongous feast. And then they go, but Durvasa Muni is on the other side of Yamuna. And Yamuna is flooded. It's full. He says, oh Krishna, can you help us out? He says, just tell Yamuna, if Krishna is a perfect brahmachari, let him pass. Let us pass. I was like, what? He says, just tell Yamuna, if Krishna is a perfect brahmachari, give us path. He says, we know what kind of a brahmachari you are. I said, just go tell him. So they, okay, Yamuna Devi, if Krishna is an absolute brahmachari, please give us path. And Yamuna Devi immediately divorced. Like, what? And they walk by, they come there, they put everything, this huge, humongous feast. And Brajavasis cook, they cook. They cook, huge. And then Radharani is like, oh, Durvasa Muni, we would like to feed you. He says, okay. So they personally go and feed. So all the gopis were like, oh, we can also do that. So they all went and fed. And Durvasa Muni ate everything. Everything that they had cooked. And they were shocked. Durvasa means one who maintains his life by eating this grass called durva. And he ate this whole huge meal. So it's like, okay, Durvasa Muni, how do we go back? He said, tell Yamuna Devi, if Durvasa is hasn't eaten anything, please give us path. So like, what? Okay, Yamuna Devi, if Durvasa Muni hasn't eaten anything, please give us path. Immediately Yamuna is like, this is cheating. Yamuna Devi is full on cheating. We saw with our own eyes. We fed him with our own hands. Durvasa Muni did eat. Comes back and says, Krishna, we don't understand this. What do you don't understand? Says, you say you are a brahmachari, and who is better than us who knows what kind of brahmachari you are? Yamuna Devi gives path. We feed Durvasa Muni with our own hands. This huge, humongous feast. And then he says, if I haven't eaten anything, let Yamuna Devi give you path. And she gives path. How is that even possible? Krishna says, I am Atma Rama. I don't need to spend time with you. It's you who needs to spend time with me. So that's why the time that I spend with you doesn't affect. That's why I'm still a brahmachari. And Durvasa, okay, fine, great, understand. What about the Muni? We fed him. We saw him eat. He said, in every morsel, he said, Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. I offer this to Shri Krishna. So actually, I ate everything. He didn't. So that's why Yamuna Devi gave you path both times. That's Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. He ate, but he didn't eat. So if we understand Krishna, then this whole system of Mayavada doesn't, affect. We can understand the difference between energy and energetic. The source of the energy. And we don't get confused by, oh yes, this is the Supreme. No. We reach all the way to the source of the Supreme. And then we know who is the Supreme. When this knowledge is factually understood, one sees the conception of monism and dualism to be imperfect. Development of this transcendental consciousness, grounded in the conception of simultaneously one and different, leads one immediately to the stage of freedom from the threefold miseries. The threefold miseries are: 1. Those miseries which arise from the mind and body. 2. Those miseries inflicted by other living beings. And 3. Those miseries arising from natural catastrophes over which one has no control. Shrimad Bhagavatam begins with the surrender of the devotee unto the absolute truth. The devotee is fully aware that he is one with the Absolute at the same time in the eternal position of servant of the Absolute Truth. In the material conception, one falsely thinks himself the Lord of all he surveys, and therefore he is always troubled by the threefold miseries of life. But as soon as one comes to know his real position as transcendental servant, he at once becomes free from all miseries. As long as the living entity is trying to master material nature, there is no possibility of his becoming servant of the Supreme. Service to the Supreme is rendered in pure consciousness of one's personal identity. By service, one is immediately freed from material encumbrance. Right? We are the servant. If we understand that, there is no problem. If we don't understand that, there is lots of problems. For example, Bhaktivedanta Purna Maharaj was saying, it's so difficult. When one person becomes a grihastha, it's so difficult. You have to take care of yourself, your wife, your family, your children. It's just like so overwhelming. Why? Because the man is thinking he's the man. He's the controller, the enjoyer. But Jiva is actually Prakriti. By nature, Jiva is feminine in a man's body. That's why, being a female, he has to act like a male, and he goes crazy. Because you don't know how to behave like one. That's why that male has to go to Gurukul and get trained under a guru how to behave like a man. Like you have a drama. You need to know how to act nicely. Then okay, this person, he's acting as a king, he's behaving like a king. Otherwise, it's like, what's going on? What am I supposed to do? But as soon as you know, I am the servant of the Supreme Lord, it doesn't matter. I'm working in some company. I can't go up to the boss, pick up his water bottle, start drinking water from him. Like, hey, can you move aside? I need to, pull out some papers. No, you can't do that. And you knock on the door. Excuse me, sir, may I come in? You stand there, sir, can you sign this, paper, document, whatever. You have to behave nicely. And when you're doing that, you have no problem. You get your promotions, you get your payments, everything goes on smoothly. As soon as you think that I'm the boss of this company, the boss lets you know who's the boss. So when we forget that we are the servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is Maya Devi with her trident. Right? It's called Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Adhyatmik, Kleshas. Suffering coming from other living entities, suffering coming from one's own mind and body, suffering coming from natural calamities. And she's there, oh, you think you're the boss? I'm getting hurt. by the 3